Hey everybody, welcome to this week's beginner guitar class. So we'll start out by going over just kind of what the package had this week. So it was 3 pages. So the first one, how to play a C and a C add 9 chord. So we'll go over this one today. This is kind of a bonus sheet, some harmonies for In the Hall of Mountain King, which we're going to finish in a minute here. So these are if you just feel like learning something extra. This is just another way to play the song. And then here's your homework assignment, a blank page. Okay? What I want you to do is to just try to come up with something on guitar. Little melody, song, lick, riff, whatever you want to call it. And just write it down on here, okay? Try to tab it out yourself. You're not going to have the same rhythm notation, so we're not going to worry about putting the quarter notes, eighth notes, etc. Just put the numbers down, because it's going to end up being really in your head, the timing, but it's more just to be able to transcribe those notes, okay? So, let's get into the End of the Hall of the Mountain King. We're going to go over lines 3 and 4, but really we don't need to go over line 3 because it's the same as line 1, and line 4 is the same as line 1 except for the last bar. So we're just going over the last 2 bars of the song, okay? So bars 15 and 16. So we're going to do that quickly here, and then just like every other week, I'm going to have links in the description to the whole song now played through with the metronome at the different tempos we've been doing, okay? So let's get aim down so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to play through line 3 and line 4, but I said line 3 we already know. Now line 4. Does everyone hear that last bar? It's a little bit different, okay? So I'm going to play the last 2 bars again together, then we'll break it down even more. So just the last 2 bars go like this. So the tricky part with this is we're doing a lot of string skipping with our right hand. Okay? So the second last bar is the same as the third bar of line 1 and line 3. Okay? Okay? The last bar, playing on our 4th string, and then the open B again, and back to our A for that 2nd fret. Okay? So just like when we learned that ending in the first place on line 1, we're going to break it down so our high B note is actually going to be part of the ending, okay? So it's going to sound like this. Now here we're going to start the ending. Again. Sorry. Okay, just like all the other parts, I want you to play that through just that ending, that last bar in one note, until you feel comfortable with that. Then we'll put the 2 bars together. So there's no different notes that we're playing there we haven't played in the rest of the song. It's just the order. And it's that extra B note that's going to make it a little tricky because we're skipping over a string to get up there, and then we're going from our 2nd to our 5th. Okay? So that's In the Hall of the Mountain King. That's the ending of that one. As I said, whole song playthrough with metronome will be in the description. I'll quickly just play over what the harmony kind of sounds like, okay? So it's what I've done here. These substitute for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th lines. So the first line you play the same way. So you kind of need both pieces of paper next to each other, or you could play this line here is the same as line. So I'm going to play the last 2 lines of this, so the 3-4 harmony. So this would fit with the first line of the song. It would sound like this. So I'm going to try to play those notes together for you and see just the first two bars. You'll see what they sound like together. Okay, so it gives you a fifth harmony, which is kind of like what rock guitarists call power chord. Just kind of fills the sound out. Then there's other harmonies we could do with it, but this is just kind of, if you know the song well and you want to learn something extra, try this one, okay? Now, on to our chord of the week. So last time we went through the G. Okay, today we're going to do the C major and the C add 9. Unlike the G, these aren't two ways to play the same chord, they're two different chords. So I would recommend starting out actually by playing the C add 9 if you're comfortable with the G chord, but we're going to go over the C first because it's the major chord and the other one's a derivative. So just like a G chord is made up of G, D, and B notes, C is made up of C, E, and G. Okay? So this is what a C chord looks and sounds like, and then we'll break it down and build it up. Slightly out of tune, but that's how it is, okay? Let me aim down here and you can see my hand a little better. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our third finger on the third fret of our A string. And looking at our notes from last week, that gives us a C. Now we're going to put our second finger right here underneath, okay? On the second fret of our D string. That gives us an E. And now we're going to skip over the G string because that's going to be open. And we're going to put our first finger on the first fret of the B, okay? Our second string, the B, because that note is a C. So now we have C, E, G, C, E. And you'll see the little X above at the top of the chord diagram here. So the X means we don't play that. Okay, so we don't play that string, so we're only playing the 5 highest sounding strings, and the zeros mean we're playing those opens. Okay? So C. See? I want to make sure that we don't have any notes like that. Then so there's our C major. Now, the C add 9. Okay, so this one we're going to start, easiest way is to start with our G chord that we had before, the second version. So that was second finger on the third fret of the low E, first finger on the second fret of the A string, and then our pinky and third finger on the third frets of the high E and B string. So that's G major. Now to get the C add 9, all we're going to do is we're going to take these two fingers and move them one string towards the floor. Okay, so our middle finger goes from the third fret of the low E to the third fret of the A, and our first finger goes from the second fret of the A to the second fret of the D. And then we have a C add 9. Okay, and again, we don't play this low E. You'll see when I play this chord, my thumb wraps over. The reason I do that is it mutes the string. That way I don't need to worry about being accurate with this hand. I can just hit them all. So the reason why we use the C add 9. So I'm going to show you G, C, and D chords are often used together. They just sound good together. They're a natural progression. So we have our G. Now we've learned our C major. And then our D, which we'll do maybe next week. So if I try to play, we're going to play G, C, D, C, G. Okay, I had a lot of hand movement there. Now I'm going to play the same thing, or try to play. I might play the strumming pattern different. I'm going to add the C add 9 chord in instead of the C major. So it sounds like this. C add 9, D, C add 9, G. See, there's a lot less hand movement here. And the other thing is, switching to my D chord, this finger stays the same. So my whole hand can kind of pivot around my third finger where it stays anchored. So if I'm someone who plays and sings at the same time, like Mr. Brad did, this means you don't have to worry as much about where your hand's going. You can kind of just get used to the muscle memory of those 3 chords, and it's less movement to try to do, and you don't have to move your whole hand around. Okay, so that's why this chord comes up quite often in guitar. You can kind of substitute it in most places or write a song around it. So a lot of popular songs, instead of having a G major, C major, D chord progression, would be a G major, C add 9 to D. And again, then there's all kinds of things you can do with a D chord, and again, go right back into a C add 9. So it just kind of is an easier way. A lot of the time, even if it's written with a C, people will substitute that one in if they're trying to play and sing. So it's also a little easier to start out with playing, because if you've got your G, all we're doing is moving our hand up, or 2 fingers up one string, okay? The C major, you're playing a little bit of the game operation, trying to make sure you got these 2 strings ringing out with fingers on either side of them, okay? So it's a little tougher. But try both of them out, and let me know how it goes, okay? So that's kind of what we got this week, and I said, and then take your blank page of tablature, and you don't need to fill this whole thing up. If you want to, go for it. If you want to write multiple things, and this too, if you make a mistake, you scratch out, you have a whole bunch of lines, okay? And hopefully I will see some of you guys this week for a little Zoom chat, and hope everything's going great. So good luck. Bye-bye.